Hello everybody, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. After so much deliberation, I'm finally gotten around to starting to record this video. I've been talking about it for ages. As you guys know, I went to Japan. So Tokyo's been on my to-do list, bucket list, or whatever you want to call it, for so many years. Obviously, being a huge Nintendo fan, going to see the home of Nintendo, the home of video games. Obviously I like Resident Evil, you got Capcom, you got Konami, there's Namco, obviously Sega, right? I mean, technically we started out as Sega fans with the Mega Drive 2. Going to Japan, I should say, has been like top of the list of places where I want to go for so long. As you guys know, Tokyo's meant to have like a different vibe to it. It's obviously the whole Japanese culture, which you would have maybe somewhat saw in movies and in TV. Obviously all the anime, the manga, the music, the movies, you know, the Godzilla, obviously the games, the Street Fighter, the Nintendos. It's just been like up there for me for so long as a place I wanted to go to. So yeah, it's been one of those ones where I've tried to arrange a trip over the years with various friends and family and whatever, and obviously it's because of where it is. It's literally, you know, on the other side of the planet. It's quite the commitment and the effort to go. Plus, so you obviously got the flights, you got the time. It's so far away, and then little did I know at the time, the accommodation is so expensive. Even though Tokyo is this massive place, it's there's so many people there. Population density is so high that excuse me, the land prices are really expensive, which push the price of accommodation up. So yeah, it's over the years basically it's been difficult to plan a trip. But I said to myself, this year 2024, sack it, I am finally gonna go. And my cousin, bless her, from down under, she's been trying to get me to get us to organise a family trip for so long, and it was her 40th in September. So she said, let's meet up somewhere for a holiday. And she didn't want to go to Japan because of the hectic nature of it. So I suggested that we meet up somewhere near there, which worked for them because they're from Melbourne, relatively close. And so I thought I'd take advantage of the distance I'm travelling and just, since I'm going that direction, tack on the Tokyo trip at the same time. It's worked out right. The other thing that I've been doing, my other strategy was that since about 2019, I've got an Amex card, American Express, the British Airways one. And what that essentially allows you to do, literally every single pound that you spend on the card, you get air miles. So I've been saving up these air miles for 4 or 5 years, and I knew they were like sat there in the background ratcheting up. So I had British Airways air miles, which obviously you want to use on something long haul. I think they gave me like a special voucher that I won or achieved for, you know, spending enough money, I suppose, right? So they gave me a voucher which gave me like a discount on the number of miles that I could use. So essentially I managed to book my Tokyo trip with just air miles for the majority and a small top-up fee. I got the return for 170 quid, which is pretty good. It's like from when I booked it, it was like saving probably over £1,000, which is, you know, winner at that sort of thing, right? So my strategy was, because I didn't have that much holiday, I was planning to go for about 7 or 8 or 9 days or something, is this time I would focus mainly on Tokyo. Obviously being the capital city, the largest size, I thought there'd be the most population density. There's plenty to see and do in terms of the touristy stuff. So I would spend this trip, this time, on Tokyo. If I enjoyed it, then perhaps I'd go back in the future. Obviously I know that there's more to Japan than just Tokyo. I was well aware that Nintendo themselves are based out in Kyoto, so there's not going to be much there to see, so you'd have to go to Kyoto, and then Osaka I saw I also knew was a major city with plenty to see and do there. I am into like archaeological stuff and museums and that sort of jazz. So going to see the national landmarks. I know of some of the big castles, and I know that there aren't any of the big castles in Tokyo. So just in the future I thought, and sorry I forgot, Hiroshima. So those are the three places really, Kyoto, Osaka and Hiroshima. I thought to try and squeeze them in with Tokyo in what's just over a week, 10 days. To me that was too much. So I decided strategically this time I'm just going to go to Tokyo and spend the time there, which is what I did. So what I decided to do then, obviously being a YouTuber who looks at video games and stuff, I went on YouTube and I watched a shed load of different videos of where people go for retro gaming in Tokyo. So I took names and stuff, and then I'll include a screenshot of it in now anyway, but I did my my Google Maps technique of going into Google Maps and then just saving as places I want to go. I mean, I'm showing it there in green, but essentially I'll add the screenshot in now anyway, so you'll be able to see it in. I'll screenshot it right now. So yeah, I screenshotted there of all the places, or the majority of the places where I wanted to go, places of interest, things that looked pretty cool. I already knew of, I didn't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's pronounced Akikibara beforehand from, well, just, as you do, you pick up information about games and stuff. So I knew Akikibara in Tokyo was like the place to be for all stuff electronic. So I picked a accommodation. There's a story. I tried to find accommodation as close to Akikibara as I could, because I thought that's the kind of place where I wanted to be. Wasn't really interested in the night out, the partying, boozing and all that sort of jazz. I'm past that a little bit. I thought I'll check it out, but not that interested. So I thought I'll stay somewhere close to Akikibara. At first I looked on booking.com and hotels, like I said, were expensive. You're talking £100 a night. So if you want to spend 700-800 quid just on hotels, somewhere reasonable, you can do. Get something nice, 4-star, 5-star. For me, I wasn't too fussed about the accommodation. It's not something that I knew I was gonna spend a lot of time there. I wasn't gonna go to Tokyo to spend time in a hotel, right? And then, so the other option was the what are they called? The capsule hotels, which is essentially, they're just like hostels, and you get a small little, I wouldn't call it a room, it's more like a bunker. They call it capsules, obviously. So it's a little door and like a bed, and they're stacked up. I think they're stacked 4 high in most places. There's shared bathrooms. There's obviously a place to lock up your luggage and stuff. And obviously it's quite common, or not common, quite popular with the tourists. I'll chuck a few photos and stuff over. So that was one idea, which was appealing to me, because I thought that's part of the experience, right? If you're going to go to Japan, they're known for their capsule budget hotels, worth checking that out. But then I thought, TJ, you're going to be buying a lot of stuff. You're going to be buying a lot of stuff for a lot of value. That's the intention, right? That's part of the goal of going, is go game shopping and stuff. Do you really want to be leaving it around and sorting it all out in a capsule hostel type thing with people around? The answer is no. So unfortunately this time, and the other benefit of doing one of those capsule type hostels is obviously you meet other people. I was traveling solo. I decided to go solo because it just meant I was fully flexible with whatever I wanted to do. But yeah, if I'd went to one of these hostels, I would have met people, could have gone for dinner, gone out drinking, or do the sightseeing or whatever with people. So I knew I was sacrificing that social element, which obviously has its pluses and benefits, pluses and negatives. This instance, I said, you know what, TJ, that you're going predominantly for game shopping, retro shopping, seeing all the game shops. That's what I wanted to do as the main focus. So I passed on it this time. Next time I go, I will definitely do that sort of thing. I won't need to do the game shopping nowhere near as much to the extent that I have this time, or I'll be able to do something different. So I just sacked it off and I found an Airbnb, which is what I would recommend. So when I first started looking for it, I found some options very near Akikibara, smallish room, but for 8 or 9 nights they wanted $350, which was pretty cheap. And there were loads of rooms in the same building. So you got a double bed, sorry. You got your own small little bathroom and your own small little kitchenette, which is kind of perfect if all you're going to do is sleep there, right? But unfortunately I didn't book it up in time. And when I finally decided, yeah, TJ, you need to book it, I think it was about 6 weeks in advance, that one had gone. So I ended up going slightly further out towards the east, near Taito City. So it's a little bit more in the middle of nowhere, but it is next to a Shin Ogachemi, I think, tube station. So I thought, yeah, I'll stay there, that's not too bad, relatively well connected. Get on the tube and connect to various other places wherever you want to go, and that was like the next reasonable price for an extra 100. So I ended up paying $450 for 9 nights, still only 50 quid a night. I thought that's fine. This room was much bigger though, there's a lot more spacious, more room to move around and do stuff, so it had its benefits compared to the other ones. So yeah, I was set. I had no idea how the transport system worked. I had no idea how the money system would work. How the money system would work. But I thought, you know what, sack it. People go, man up, just get down there and figure it out. What I did do is I made a shopping list of things that I would like. So I thought I'd go down the shopping list in this video, so you have an idea. I mean, you can't really see that very well. I'll add a screenshot of it on the side so you'll be able to see it clearly what I was after. So just looking down, GBA, so Game Boy Advance NES Classics, right? Sin and Punishment on the N64, a white PS2 Slim. I'll show all these while I'm talking. Sony Classic headphones, so those are for the TPS L2. I don't know if you've seen those, I'll put them in. A Sony Alpha 6600, so that's a mirrorless camera to replace one which I recently sold to Mr. FU Man. Dragon Ball Z figures, obviously. Pokemon figures and plushes. A Panasonic Q, big boy. Link to the Past on the SNES, obviously. Link's Awakening Game Boy. NES Mario Brothers 1 and 3. An NES Classic Mini. So like the SNES Mini that we got here, a Famicom Classic Mini, I should say. Then I've got a Famicom on the list. Biohazard PlayStation 1 and on the GameCube, so the remake on the GameCube. Street Fighter SNES. Chrono Trigger SNES. A Sony Walkman, so by Walkman I mean like a cassette player, and a Sony Discman, which is the portable CD player. Pokemon Green, which obviously we didn't get in the West. Dragon Quest 6, specifically 6 on the SNES. Mega Man X3, Street Fighter figures, Pokemon cards. Randomly an Omega Seamaster watch, it's a bit out there. A Konami Game Boy arcade machine, I don't know if you see all those, they're called Hyper Boys on the screen. Metal Gear on the MSX, that's the OG original Metal Gear on the first console it came out on. Dead or Alive on the Switch. Rumble Rose XX, which is Xbox 360 I think. And Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball on the Switch. So that is the list of stuff that I made before I went. So those are the things that were on the back of my mind as things that it would be nice to have. So yeah, that's what I was after when I went there. So in general, my strategy was, let's think, I landed and I landed at 7 in the morning after a 13-hour flight, 12-hour flight, which took off in the UK in 9 in the morning. So I took off here 9 in the morning for 13 or 12 hours. So I landed at 9 PM UK time in the evening. So my body clock was ready to go to sleep. But I landed and it was first thing in the morning, so you can't really go to sleep. So my strategy was land on the very first day and drop stuff off at the Airbnb and then just have a look around at everything. Go and explore, take notes, take pictures, see what's what, see what's available. Do an assessment, see where you get to, and then go back on day 2 systematically and tick things off as you go along, right? Unfortunately, on the day 1, I missed... No, I didn't. I missed one place to go to see. And that one place was kind of significant because it was a good shop. But we'll get to that later. So, I've got all these pickups, which you cannot see, strategically out of sight. And I'm thinking I'm going to do a series of videos of each of the major shops with each of the areas... with each of the major pickups within that I got from each of these shops, and I've tried to clump them together, so obviously we don't want kind of 20 videos. There's probably 6 or 7 videos, and then I've got a shed load of just random, you know, I like my toys and paraphernalia and stuff like that, so I've got all that stuff as well. And because I really need to start packing this away, it's just been sat here for 2 weeks. I had a cold for 2 weeks. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just record all these pickups in one, and then obviously I'll put the video up that I captured. I haven't rewatched the captured video, so I can't remember what's in there. I'll try and add some commentary along the way, and yeah, we'll do like that. So should we talk? How long has it been? 17 minutes. Yeah, so this is video number 1, the introduction to Japan. Though I'll put some footage of Japan in general, so you get to have a look at what's what. And then video number 2 will be the start of the tours, I think. So yeah, a bit of a tease. Here's a top tip: get a Revolut card. That helps you for when you're traveling everywhere. Takes it in Japan. You can do your safe balance transfers from your normal Czech current account, and it gives you really good rates, and you can see exactly how much you paid for stuff. So yeah, get a Revolut card. I use Revolut card to buy all this stuff and therefore get relatively good value. So next week's video, the first one will be of probably the chains that I saw, which was the big, kind of like a CEX style, and they are called hard off. So hopefully come back next week, you'll see the hard off footage, and I'll show you the cool pickups that I got along the way. If you stayed this long, thanks for listening, and hopefully you didn't get boo balls. Apologies if you did, but I'll see you next week. Bye.